Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man. Today I'm going to be reviewing the second episode of Fairy Gone, and I gotta say, this episode was kind of a letdown. And don't get me wrong, this episode wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was okay, and let me explain why now. This episode did have the material to be really, really good, because at the start, it felt like they were going to set up maybe a Marlia flashback-like episode, because it emphasized that there was this person that took care of Marlia, but then this person died, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking, I'm down to see this, and then when it just fucking just rushes through that shit, I was like, wow, we didn't even get to see who the person was that Marlia, that took care of Marlia and all that, so it was kind of hard to even get to feel even any type of sympathy for Marlia. Because that's the thing about animes, like, they try to have their emotional moments, but then they rush through it, and it's hard to give a shit. And then again, this anime tried to have, like, a reveal where the main male MC, which I don't even have his name memorized yet, but this episode really didn't really do much, so I was like, whatever. Well, this main male MC, they show some of his flashback when, and all that, how he was involved with the war, how they made like a surgery to put the fairy organ inside of him so he can use fairies and all that. And I was like, alright, yeah, that's interesting, all and dandy. Well, I found that interesting. There's just one downside. It showed that he was really good friends with this girl called Wolfran, and then it just rushes through a few flashbacks to this flashback sequence, and then when they introduce Wolfran again, it shows it's on the opposing enemy side. But the thing is, though, it feels like this sequence doesn't have as much impact as it should, because I felt that if they would have maybe given more time towards showing the past of the main male MC, showing off a bit more of Wolfran, so that when we see him actually be a traitor, and then I'll be like, oh shit, this shit is mind-boggling, oh my gosh. But here it's just like, oh, okay, I guess Wolfran's bad. I guess that's cool, I guess. It's like, moments that I feel should have had some emotional impact don't, and that's what I really think is affected my enjoyment of this episode of Fairy Gone. And that's why I felt from a writing standpoint, it wasn't really that interesting. And then it would have been nice to see it, like, at least Marley think about her situation, maybe have an inner monologue about how she has to work for the government, but we never really get that sequence either. It's just like, it just feels like things are just rushed to get into this 20-minute episode runtime, and yeah, it's kind of disappointing. So I'd say from a story standpoint, it was a mixed bag. I mean, it had some upside at the very least. We got to see the male see how he got his fairy through a transplant. And at the very least, we also got to see more of the limitations, because if a fairy suffers like any of their limbs being severed, they can't use it for a while. So we get more limitations on the fairies and all that. So there were upsides to this episode, but from a story standpoint, it was alright. From a character standpoint, it really didn't do much. It just gave off the bare minimum when it came to giving us Marla backstory and backstory to the main male MC. And then for Wolfran, I'd say it did a decent job of showing us why he went to the bad side, because there's this scene that implies that his wife and daughter died. But that's about it, though, because other than that, from a character standpoint, it just did the bare minimum. I'd say the only thing this episode that wasn't the bare minimum was the animation and art. Those were above average, but that's about it. And as for other things, the soundtrack was okay. I mean, there was a decent song in the middle, but didn't really pump me up too much. And that's why I'm taking all these factors in consideration. I'm going to rate this episode a 5 out of 10. With 5 pretty much being average in my skill, because that's pretty much what this episode did. It just did the bare minimum. It wasn't really entertaining, but it wasn't really bad either. It was, I guess, somewhat interesting. And that's why I really can't give it anything more than a 5 out of 10, because, well, so it really do it much for me. And I'm on the fence whether I'll watch or react to the next episode. I mean, I'll probably check it out, but yeah. So these are my thoughts, everyone. Comment on your thoughts on Fairy Gone episode 2. How you felt about this episode? Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. If you subscribe for more, and I'll probably check out. Yeah, hopefully episode 3 is just a better episode. All right, thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Bye bye.